Welcome back to our show. I'm Ben Brashen alongside Michael Busacca, who joins us once again from Skyline Properties. Now, Michael, you know, it's the holidays. Happy holidays.
Thank you. Happy holidays to you too.
Have you started doing any festivities?
The festivities I've partaken in are watching the Seahawks just annihilate the Cardinals, and the lucky Seahawks shirt worked.
Yeah,
it's, as you can tell from their 8-5 record, it doesn't always work.
It works some of the time, all the time.
Right.
So as we get into the holidays, this is good. You have a real estate Santa Claus. Now, you didn't wear a hat, and I don't see a big belly or a red coat. But if there were real estate people out there and you were their Santa, I have a hard time imagining you as Santa. I mean, they may have to find a costume at the studio. But there are some things that you think Santa could really deliver to the real estate community.
Absolutely. This is as much as what Santa could deliver as me, in a bit, picking on pretty much every profession and telling everyone what they can do better.
Sure.
And brokers can do better, too.
It's fun to pick on people, especially when they can't pick on you back, right? It's just us in here.
I'm sure they'll try online or something.
Tom's
like
over there like with spitballs, you know, just ready to hit him right at the back of your head.
No, I have no criticism for Tom. He's definitely
Touchdown, Tom! Yeah.
First and foremost, we need to stop assuming everyone that software can price a home. And sorry, Redfin and Zillow, you get it right some of the time, but not often enough to be a professional service. I mean, the analogy is perfect in that I can't go online and diagnose an illness for myself. It's just too complex, and pricing is just too complex. So many variables.
So you're saying Zillow and Redfin is kind of like going on WebMD.
Exactly.
In which case, I have you go on WebMD, next thing you know, you've gotten some strange disease from Africa in a place you've never been, but nonetheless.
I have to mention, I have a friend who really thought he had ringworm. He diagnosed it, and he bought all the lotions and stuff, and after 4 weeks, he realized it wasn't working. He went to a doctor. Sure enough, he had something different.
And we don't have to discuss what that was. Okay, so you want people to stop. You want Santa to drop down the chimney and get Zillow and Redfin off the front burner of pricing homes.
Without question. I mean, it's something I could elaborate on for hours on end. But the bottom line is that it is just too complex. There's too many variables. There's too many assumptions of uniformity within Zillow and Redfin's formula. They're always assuming a bedroom is a bedroom is a bedroom. And I can take you through 40 homes, and you realize, some bedrooms are absolutely spacious, beautiful light, and, nice detailing. Another bedroom might not have that nice detailing, and then the buyer's paying $5,000 less. And then some bedrooms might have high ceilings and some might have short ceilings and be virtually worthless. So your supposed 4-bedroom home, even though it meets uniform building code, the buyer's treated as a 2-bedroom home.
What else is in Santa's bag?
Quite a bit. I would like lenders to do a better job of readjusting loan limits or create a stepped scale to it. So there's not such a harsh definition at where jumbo loans stop at 567.5 in King County.
Call your local government, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac.
Happily.
Yeah, you just tell me who you can talk to and see what we can do to raise.
You think they'll pick up?
They'll probably pick up, and who knows what would happen.
I would also like buyers can do a lot too. Buyers, you really need to focus on buying closer to where your job is. I mean, you think about the amount of transportation projects we're undertaking right now. Some of those are just by virtue of time, like the viaduct. That baby's crumbling. It had to go. But other things like, say, 520 expansion, I mean, that is people, let's face it, that is the bulk of Microsoft employees who don't prefer to live on the east side, and they like Seattle. They like what Seattle has to offer for a lifestyle. And you look at 520 in the morning and look at it in the evening, and it's jammed up with most of those folks. So do a better job. The closer you are to your job, the less we'll spend in taxes on infrastructure.
It's funny if you're on 520 too, because on 520 also, because literally every third car has the little Microsoft parking tag on it,
Great observation, yep. And just go on the DOT website and look at the traffic cams in the morning and the night, and there's no mistaking where that's coming and going. And I'd say this too because I have a lot of Microsoft clients. Great folks. I'm very happy that Microsoft's in the Northwest, but they consistently like to be in Seattle.
Yeah. Where else does Santa need to deliver some ways to make your job easier, Mike?
I would love it if, to dovetail with what Tom was saying, buyers stop letting economic headlines tell you whether to buy or sell. A headline is just to start. You have to read as much economic
At least get through the first paragraph, right?
Yeah, exactly. I've been guilty of that in the past, but I've acknowledged my sins and I'm improving. And then at the end of the day, when you've done as much research as you can, call an investment pro and get the whole picture before you make a knee-jerk or emotional response to buying or selling. And then, the next one, flippers, you have got to stop trashing these nice classic homes. Sure, you came into a classic home and you that was dilapidated. You yanked out the nasty carpet and you ripped out the rotted subfloor in the bathrooms and stuff. But then you basically trashed a classic. It's like you wouldn't buy a 55 Chevy and all of a sudden start slapping zebra stripes all over it. And I'm going a little wild with that comparison. But
well, I mean, I think it'd be like taking a 55 Chevy and putting a brand new Lexus interior in it, is really what you're saying.
Amen. You speak the truth. Yeah, so flippers, I mean, if you just are stuck on the cut and paste mode, you really need to sit down and reevaluate your whole formula and get more talented people in on your crew, and you must do a better job.
You're making friends over here, I can just tell.
Hey, they have a right to criticize me. I mean, we're all professionals. We all should be able to take the heat.
Sure.
If you're a professional.
Now, I like this next one, too, appraisers, because we all love appraisers. We can't even talk to appraisers anymore in the mortgage business.
No, I know. And they're just, there are probably a good 30% of appraisers are true pros and they get the whole picture. But so much of appraisals are geared towards a quantitative analysis. They look at the square footage of the home, square footage above grade versus the basement, square footage of the lot, bedrooms and bathrooms. But they really, really need to spend some time with buyers and learn what buyers like and don't like. Because a year 2000 kitchen, while it looked great then, doesn't appeal to buyers when they're looking at all this 2012 stuff. So even though it might seem new kitchen, not a fair comparison. All of a sudden, you've missed a $25,000 value adjustment on a $500,000 home.
Mm-hmm.
So appraisers, you really need to do everything you can to go learn what buyers like and don't like, because their preferences, they are the marketplace.
And I think that's a very fair piece. Appraisers are out there, and they're busy. They're out there doing 2 or 3 houses a day sometimes and slapping prices on them based on, well, if you think about it, based on the interior of one home and then the exterior of some other houses. I mean, right? They're doing the drive-by. They're not walking through every other house. They walk through the one subject house, and then they go take pictures of each additional house. Makes it very hard to compare.
Oh, fantastic point. Yeah, I mean, the only way you learn any of this is to go through house after house very carefully, very patiently. And I have the luxury of being a realtor and listening to everything my buyers say. And after 14 and a half years, and 13,000 plus properties, I've developed a pretty good inventory of what buyers will pay for and what they won't pay for. And appraisers are not, they don't have that information available in some spreadsheet or something, so they're pretty much in the weeds.
Mm-hmm. So we're on the 8th day of a professional realtor's Christmas list. What are we doing, man? What keep us going?
I would like to dovetail that with how lenders are so willing, and that this was the compromise in trying to clean up appraisals, to accept an appraisal from somebody who is completely out of area. And on a couple shows before, I mentioned this greenhorn appraiser coming from up on the Plateau Nisqually trying to do a valuation in Ballard and just blew it badly. Don't assume that you can get a valid appraisal from an out-of-area appraiser.
Now, very interestingly, to protect my own industry here, we lenders don't pick appraisers anymore.
No, I know.
It's a blind draw, and we are actually, as a lender, we can't even talk to an appraiser. If we pick up the phone and call the appraiser, it can terminate our licensing.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I need to clarify. I'm not picking on individual mortgage brokers or even local executives. Whoever sets the policy, whichever lenders on the national scale.
We're going after the government here, right?
The government talks to the big boys and girls at Chase and Wells Fargo and Bank of America. And those big boys and girls could tell the government, look, we cannot take an appraiser who does not know the area, but they have. And so there needs to be a wholesale review of how that's allocated.
Okay, a couple more. And again, we're here with Michael Busacca talking about the wish list of a realtor's 10 days of Christmas. Mike, we just have about a minute left before we have to go to break.
I would like to then go for inspectors. And inspectors, I wish you would, when you mention the flaws of a home, and you will mention them all, as many as you can see, don't be so focused on scaring a buyer. Tell a buyer what problems are actually scary and what are a medium problem and what's a small problem. I've seen some inspectors who are good at that. Others just want to never hear from a buyer who says, hey, you didn't tell me how bad this could be. Well, tell someone, okay, this is a $200 problem. Like, let's say a water heater's got a pressure relief valve. It's $200 to plumb that to an outside wall. If you don't, and that fails, you could have $15,000 worth of damage in like 5 minutes. So that's a big one. But other stuff is so much smaller on the scale. So keep things in proportion. Don't go in there with the mentality that you have to freak out a buyer. It's not necessary.
Yeah. And what are the last two before we go to break? Just real quick.
Excuse me. I would love for the city government, I'm going to pick on city of Seattle versus city of Bellevue right now. They need to do a better job or be much more understanding of granting a variance. I mean, in my 14-plus years as a broker, I haven't heard of them grant a variance. I mean, I have a friend. He's been running a duplex, not a permitted duplex in Ballard, been an outstanding landlord, great tenants, not a nuisance in the neighborhood. There's no problem with actually letting him have this be turned into a duplex. So,
and of course, the number 10 thing, really, you want everybody to take this information and have a happy holiday and have good business planning, right?
Yeah, and I'll dovetail that with number 10. Come on, Seahawks. We want a Super Bowl
That's
win.
Right. There you go. I like adding that to your wish list. Michael, thanks so much for joining us. We have to go to break. When we come back, Heather Moore is going to join us, and we are going to talk holiday trivia on Brashonomics.